Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Samantha here for another little video. Hope you're all okay. It's a glorious afternoon here in the northwest of England, and I'm inspired by the beach near to where I live. And the beautiful colours of the sky, and it's just a lovely day to be very happy here. So I thought today we would make these gorgeous little earrings. Aren't these sweet? So based on the I'm not sure if that's called a trefoil or whatever it's called, but anyway, I have no idea what that's called. There you go. But aren't these sweet? So we're going to use some little seed beads and some crystals today and some copper wire. Really simple to make, okay? So let's go ahead and have a look at the materials that we need. All right, so I'll leave those there. So the materials today are really simple. So you're going to need some 1mm, that's 18 gauge copper wire, or any wire of your choice. This design lends itself really nicely to the gold plated copper wire, silver plated, whatever you like. And for the wrapping, we're going to need some 0.4mm. I think that might be 26 gauge, but I will just double check and pop it around here somewhere, just for you guys that use gauge equivalents. What else will we need? You're going to need your flush cutters, as always. You're going to need your favourite pair of chain nose pliers. These are mine. If anybody wants to know what these are, they're actually by a company called Tronex. Really good, and they're needle nose. Super good for getting into tight spots. Great. Okay, and today I will be using my 6-step bail making pliers. Now these guys are 2 to 9 increment pliers, so all of the measurements that I give you today are based upon this particular plier. I know that you can get 6-step bail making pliers in various different sizes, but I use a 2 to 9, okay guys, so that's just for your information. The only other thing that you're going to need is a ruler just to measure out your lengths, and some beads. So today I'm going to just replicate these because this is my pair and I'm making a pair for a friend of mine, and she likes these colours. So we're going to be using size 11 Miyuki seed beads, and these are light aqua salon, just in case you wanted to know. And I'm also using some beautiful crystals that I actually bought from was it Temu? I've never bought from Temu before because I thought, oh, it's just cheap rubbish. And actually the Chinese crystals are actually really pretty. And if you're on a tight budget, which I am, you can go ahead and have a look at there. Not a sponsor or anything, but I just thought I'd have a look at Temu, and they've actually got some really pretty things. And these are 4.5mm rondelles, okay, and they're really pretty. So I'll clear the table away and we'll go ahead and make these cute little earrings. Okay, so I'll see you in a few. Righty ho team, and we're back. So hopefully you have got your wire ready, and let's go for it, shall we? So the first thing you need to do obviously is to measure out a piece of wire. Now I use about 7 or 8 centimeters, about 3 inches, something like that. Is that a pleasure flight? Oh, it might be a pleasure flight, guys. Honestly, there haven't been any this afternoon, strangely. Gloria and I have been sat here in the peace and quiet. I've been reading my book and doing a bit of faffing with some wire, and no pleasure flights. So let's hope that there's no pleasure flights coming over this afternoon. So let's get going on these and I'll stop waffling. So take your 1mm length, your 1mm wire, length about 7 or 8 centimeters, about 3 inches. Place your wire right at the end of your pliers like so. All right, so around, make a P like so. All right, so again I'm still using the first step of my 6-step bail making plier and placing the plier here about 2 to 3mm away from where this hoop ends. We want to bend it round away from us, underneath, like so. All right, so we have this kind of affair here. You want to rotate your plier so that your first step is facing towards you this time, and place it around here. Again, about 2 or 3 millimeters, okay, from where the end of this hoop, this little loop guy, ends. Now I tend to like to rotate my wrist around because we're going to be bending it towards us and then away from us. All right, so bend it around the plier and over the top this time. So the first one was underneath, this guy is over the top, so that we have this little shape here. So if it's just slightly off kilter, which mine is just a little bit there, but hey ho, that's just the way life goes. Nothing's perfect, least of all me. All right, so hopefully you've followed that around okay. So this is the shape that we have. All right, so I think it's called a trefoil. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe someone can tell me what this is called. So essentially what you have is this wire here, which is parallel with this wire here. So that's the effect that we're wanting. So with the first step of the plier, pop it into that guy there. All right. And whilst you do that, just put a little kink in your wire like so. This basically, that's probably just slightly too much of an angle. This basically helps us with the next part of our loop making, because we're going to make a larger loop here. I'm going to take the third step on my plier, like so. Place your plier here, and then bend the wire around and underneath at the back. All right, so if you find again that things just need a slight adjustment, which they quite often do with me because I am not perfect by any stretch, just give things a little bit of adjustment if you need to. All right, so we have this shape here. All right, can you see that okay? Smashing. All right, so just squish it down with your fingers, or if you've got some nylon jaw pliers, just very, very gently sort of bring the pliers together and just give it a little bit of a squish. If you've got industrial hands like I have, typical northern woman, I've got hands like shovels, so I can give them a bit of a squash and it won't do me any damage at all. Oh dear, come from a long line of women with extremely large hands, so you know, it is what it is. Right, so there we go. So here we go. The next thing we need to do is to bring in our 0.4 millimeter wire. I think, like I say, I think that's 26 gauge. You're going to need, I think, possibly, let's have a think, about 40 centimeters, 35, 40 centimeters. That's what, 14, 15 inches, something like that. You don't need a huge amount, but it's always better to have too much than not enough, I always say. All right, so we come in with our little component here. So through this little loop here, the one on the right hand side, obviously if you're left-handed, reverse what I'm doing. Pop your little wire through and just anchor it. All right, so we want to join this little hoop to this larger hoop. So we feed the wire through, making sure not to kink it because it will want to mess about on you and kink up. So try to not allow that to happen. And I think you want to do this 4 times. So we want to wrap that once, twice, back up through, like so. That's 3. And is that 4? 1, 2, 3. 3 or 4 times. Let's go for another one just for safety's sake. And I think it looks quite nice too to have that little bit of wrapping going on. Yeah, and then back through. Lovely. So as you can see here, we've wrapped that 4 times. The next thing we want to do is to wrap around just the singular little hoop here. So we want to do that twice. So bring your wire up and through, like so. But instead of going through both, just go through the little hoop. So that's once, and we'll do that twice. Oops, and up we go. Gosh, my eyesight's getting worse. Oh, to be in your mid-50s, it's wonderful, isn't it? Okay, and then just up one more time. So we're ready for our seed beads. All right, so you've got 2 wraps just on this singular. So you've wrapped 4 times in between the larger and the smaller right hand loop, and then 2 wraps. All right, so let's come in with our seed beads. Now I know, because I've made a few of these, that I need 11 seed beads. Okay, so today I'm using these lovely light Aqua Salon Miyuki 11Os, and that those are going to go around the larger little loop here on the frame. So let's put our 11Os on. This is usually the part where I say talk amongst yourselves, because there's nothing worse than watching somebody put little seed beads onto a piece of wire. However, if you're into ASMR, I suppose it would be a good thing to watch. So all of you people out there who like ASMR videos, here we go. There you go. There's my contribution to ASMR. So here we go. We have our little seed beads. So what we want to do is bend the seed beads around the frame, like so. Tucking that in a little bit. You don't want to be too close to the frame, but close enough. All right, so they still need a little bit of movement around them as well. They can't be too taut around that frame. So pull this guy out of the way. So what we want to do now is to secure these guys onto this little hoop here. Oops. So bring your wire through this guy here. All right, and pull through so that they are pretty close to the wire, but not, not all bunching up. You need a little bit of leeway. And then we'll bring that wire up through again for the 2 wraps, like so. All right, so that's what we have. Can you see what we have here? Ignoring these guys up top here, because we're going to sort these out later. So this is what we have. Right, so the next thing we need to do. Oh, the pitter-patter of Glory feet. Hi, Glory. Are you going to come and sit next to me, buddy? So we want to put our little crystals on now. So just at random. Hello, buddy. Are you going to sit next to me? There you go. If he starts snoring again, my apologies. Bless him, he does nothing but sleep these days. So let's put these on arbitrarily. No, don't like that there. Let's put that one on. Whichever you like. I mean, just whatever you like. These little crystals are really cute. Beautiful colours. And what's next? We'll put this one on, and then another pink, and then another green. So 8 of these crystals. So when you're making these yourself, this is just an idea for you. You can make them whatever size you like. Just have a play about and see what takes your fancy. Like with everything else, these are just ideas for you. So what we want to do now is to bring these crystals around so there's a little bit of space. All right, they don't want to be too tight and too taut next to the beads, because when we're wrapping around here, if the beads are too tight, you will have no room in between, because obviously by virtue we're going to be wrapping in between these beads, these crystal rondelles, and if they are too tight together, there'll be no space and it just won't work. Okay, so bear that in mind. So pop your wire back up through this guy here. So we just want to be securing the crystals onto and give them a bit of a tug. Again, like I say, not too tight. Lovely. So just need to make sure that these seed beads have a little bit of room as well. So what I like to do now is to bring the wire up and under, and then start wrapping over the top of the crystals. Now, I will give you a little bit of a tip. Don't pull too hard at this stage. So if you pull too tight at this part, it's going to look wonky. All right, so you want all of these wraps around the crystals to be even. So don't pull too tight here at this stage. You're going to want to think, ooh, I'm going to need to give it a tug, but don't. All right, so resist the temptation to pull too tight. All right, so wrap around like so, every time coming up through the center, wrap around again. Can you see how we're not pulling too tight? At the end, you can use the pads of your fingers and your thumb to just sort of squish everything into place. In fact, you can do that as you're going around. You snoring? Oh, he's asleep already. Glory is asleep already. He's doing really well, actually, guys. Those of you who have been on my channel for a while obviously know that he's been quite poorly with pneumonia, but he's doing much, much better. All right, so pull and pull, but not too tight. Okay, back through the center and then over the top. All right, so can you see here how we've not pulled too tight? All right, so let's just do that one more time. And then obviously we want to replicate what we've done on this side here. So what we want to do is to wrap through the larger hoop on this side here. I hope I'm focusing okay. So take your wire through here. Goodbye, Glory. I don't know where he's going, but he seems to be on a mission. Okay, and then up through. Okay, and then you want to do this 4 times to replicate what's on the other side. So that's 1 and 2. So we like things to look a little bit even, although the wrapping of this is quite organic, so don't worry about it too much. Okay, and back for a 3rd. Okay, just use your nail to squish things up. So can you see how that looks? And then back up. Oh, back again, Glory, honestly. You're like a fiddler's elbow today. Up and down. And back through. All right, so that's 4 wraps that we've got there. So I'll just pull that through. It's going to let me. There we go. Right, so that we're at this stage now. Can you see how those lovely crystals are now wrapped around the little seed beads? Okay, so this is the point now where we have to sort out the back. So really, really simple. So you come in with your cutters and just snip this part here. And if I can find them, I'm sat on them, there you go. We need to just give that a bit of a smush into place. Nice and neatly. Because these are earrings, obviously you're not going to be handling them too much. So this first initial wire here, snip that off. And again, smush, just to make everything nice and neat and tidy. Can you see that there? Now this wire here that we left, you just want to cut that as close to these wraps here as you can without losing the wraps, so maybe 1 millimeter. And again, just give things a little bit of a smush and a tighten. Now this is where you come in with your fingers. I've got huge hands, so I can use mine as tools. So give it a bit of a smush. If you need to come in just slightly with your plier and just give that a slight tweak if you need to. And there is your gorgeous little earring. The last thing you need to do now is to put an ear wire on. So I make my own, which I have here. All right, so just open up your ear wire like so and pop this little cutie on. Oh, I love these guys. Aren't they the cutest little things? I'm saying cute a lot these days. I don't know why. Cute's a great word. So go ahead and have fun with these. I hope I have gone slow enough for you. If not, let me know in the comments and I will try and rectify any mistakes made. All right, so I'll see you in my next video and I hope you have a really good week, guys. So have fun making these and I'll see you soon. Bye.